What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. So I watched this movie called Gully on Netflix. And this is a review. Um, I did a live recently about, and a video recently about, is Black America out of touch with Black America? And basically Gully was about three, you would say teenage young men or young adults, depending on how you look at it. And basically they all have issues. They have things going on in their lives that cause them to be a little stressed out at their age. One young man had his father got shot in front of him by the police and killed. So that was the traumatic experience of his life. The other got actually abducted, which I'm gonna get into that later. And I forgot. And the third one actually was having a baby. So, and he came up in a single parent household. So what wound up happening was they decided to just, one night decided that they're just gonna go left and they're gonna attack a Mexican gang and steal their car and then getting to a road rage incident and follow the driver home and beat him up and beat him in front of his family and take his car and then just go partying like it's all good and it's okay. Knowing that they're quote unquote from the hood in L.A., knowing there's going to be consequences for these actions. And I'm sitting there looking at it and watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is what I meant by people being out of touch, because, spoiler alerts, the young man who had got abducted, he got abducted by a white guy, by his mom. You know, his mother went to the laundromat. He was sitting by himself, and the white guys one day took him and, you know, molested him for years. And he had him in his house in you know, South Central, I believe. So that was from 3 to this guy's age, and he's like late teens or 20. The guy doesn't talk. He's like traumatized or whatever. But he can understand everything. But the problem with that was, all those years passed, he's in the same neighborhood. He got abducted at like 3 or 4 or 5 years or whatever it was, and literally was in the same neighborhood and never found his mother. That makes it like, I don't care how you, and his friends know he was abducted, you know, and they figured it out, but never tried to find the guy's mother. Never even went to the police and say, hey, this person's been missing since this many years, and they got taken from this place or that place. Or the person never went out themselves and did it. And the irony of it was, the guy who abducted him had a whole other family, I guess you can say, across town. So the kid wound up growing up and being a young man, and he never went anywhere himself and said, look, when the guy left and said, hey man, look man, I've been missing for years. So it's like, this is unrealistic to me. That's stupid. And then you got one of the kid that got his dad shot. Now he's angry about this and he's angry about that, you know, as he's growing up. But he turns around and becomes a criminal. But he ain't built for that. He's just doing it out of anger. And I think his dad gave him a skateboard. I believe that's what that was. And he goes out and becomes a criminal one night. And the next morning he gets hit by a car on a skateboard because he's not paying attention. And then the skateboard gets crushed. And now he's walking around with a skateboard in his hand. And now he's at the barrier skateboard. And he's crying and he's angry at the world. And I'm like, you wasn't this angry when you know, robbed some gangbangers and you broke into a guy's house and beat him in front of his family and stole the car. But now when your skateboard gets ran over, now you're angry at the world. And it's like, that's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. You know, the other kid, he's on a criminal spree. he's a white kid in the neighborhood, and he's having a kid. He's having a child. A child is on the way, and he's out here wanting to be a criminal in the midst of all that. Oh my goodness, that hurt. And the people that they robbed, they wound up meeting some people out, and then having a little sexcapade by emulating somebody else who's famous, and some suburban white kids too. And he leaves his phone in a stolen car, so they arrest the girls who got caught up with the stolen car, but they wound up finding him and arresting him because his phone was in that same car, and they found him, took him to jail. And this is after he committed another crime after that, where he basically killed somebody. So I would bet that he probably got life with a baby on the way. I'm looking like, I don't know how you making these hood stories with all these stupid people. The young kid who knew they got into it with the gang members knew he was going to get shot, which he did. But they're sitting there, man, make sure you look after my baby. I'm thinking to myself, how? You done already crossed the gang, you done already got arrested, you done already broken another person's house and committed a crime and killed him in front of his family. Why would y'all even think that y'all would actually make it all the way to the end at this point? So, one guy's in jail and probably going to get life. The other guy winds up getting shot, and the deaf mute guy still doesn't try to find his mom. It makes no sense. But maybe that's part of the entertainment factor of it. Is it gets you talking because this is so far-fetched that it may be irritating enough to talk about. But like, share, subscribe, but I try and catch you on the next one. Peace.